If you'll stand for the pledge and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, we have the recognition of our esteemed retiring employee, Teresa Norwood. Therese Norwood.
Here. Mr. Chair, if I may, just a couple of words. Over the past 3.5 decades, Therese Norwood has been a cornerstone of the Crow Wing County team, a steady hand, a trusted colleague, and a source of vast knowledge and support for so many. Her commitment, professionalism, and heart have left a lasting mark not only on the work that we do, but on all of us fortunate enough to work alongside of her. Throughout her remarkable 35-year career, Therese has prepared over 2,000 meeting agendas, compiled minutes from almost 1,500 meetings. She has worked with 2 county auditors, 4 county administrators, 25 county commissioners, and countless individuals across our organization. Each and every one of them has benefited not only from Theresa's exceptional professional skills, but more importantly, from her friendship and personal connection. While we will miss her presence deeply, we are grateful for the legacy she leaves behind and the example that she set for others to follow. Therese, thank you for the years of outstanding service. We wish you all the best in this next chapter of life. May it be filled with joy, adventure, and well-earned relaxation. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you very much, Debbie. It's hard to believe it's been 35 years since I first walked through the doors of this very building as a fresh-faced 19-year-old in my bright red dress, ready to take on the world. I settled into my big old gray steel desk and fired up my word processor with a floppy disk drive with not a clue to what I was doing. Who could have imagined how different the world would look 3.5 decades later? Back then, there was no internet, email, or voicemail. But the one thing that hasn't changed over the years are the great people that I've worked with. Not only have I had some of the best coworkers, but I've also had some of the best bosses. 2 county auditors, 4 county administrators, 25 county commissioners, each with their own story, personality, and leadership style. Working for elected officials is not for the faint of heart, but as you all know, I am not the faint of heart. I love making those personal connections with each of my commissioners. I want to wish you all happiness and success in your own lives. And I sincerely hope our paths will cross again someday. I'll miss you guys. I'm the one that Hey, I got a lot farther than I thought I was going to get.
So on behalf of Crow Wing County, I'd like to present this certificate of excellence, and that is a true statement in your case. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much for those 35 years of great service. And if you don't know Therese, she is a bulldog. So, yes. But she keeps us all on the straight and narrow. Thank you.
Wait, do you want to hold this too?
Okay.
Okay. Ready? And it wouldn't be the true Therese fashion if we didn't take one from a different angle. Right. One more. Okay.
They're all done. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to number 3, which is open forum. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on something other than what's on our agenda, this would now be the time. Yes, sir. If you'll come up and state your name and your address.
Good morning. My name's Steve Zielinski, 15965 County Road 25, Brainerd. I represent Crowing Green Group. We are a small hemp and cannabis company in Oak Lawn Township. I sent you all an email last week. I don't know if you had time to read it with the holiday weekend going on. If not, I hope you can find time to do so. I'd like to touch a little bit on our situation. We have been licensed by the Minnesota Department of Agriculture to grow hemp on our property since 2019. When OCM was created in 2023, they took over our hemp licensing. We started the process of switching to a micro-business license through OCM in 2024 as a social equity applicant, as I am a veteran. We currently hold a preliminary license approval from OCM to operate as a micro-business, meaning we can grow no more than 5,000 square feet of cannabis canopy indoors and open one retail location. The City of Brainerd has already held its first reading on an ordinance to allow 2 retail locations in the city limits and to issue permits to persons that have pre-approval from OCM on a first-served basis. The second reading is planned to be held at the next council meeting now that the governor has signed the omnibus cannabis policy bill, which now states that permits can be issued with pre-approval instead of a license. Since we were the first to approach the city, we will be in a position to hold one of the 2 Brainerd permits. It is and always has been for many years now our goal to grow indoor cannabis on our rural property in Oak Lawn Township and open a craft cannabis retail store in the city limits. Now that OCM and the state have come to agreement on how everything will play out, as a small craft business, we find ourselves at a disadvantage to the large corporate cannabis companies when it comes to the county's land use ordinance for cultivation. We are asking the county to please go back and look at the land use ordinance and find a way to help the small craft businesses succeed without the burden of following the strict rules of corporate cannabis companies. We are willing to work with you in any way to make this happen. Thank you for your time.
Before you leave, if I can just ask a question, have you spoken with Land Services?
I have.
About this issue? So you have communicated together, you know what the issue is then, Chris?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I believe Mr. Zielinski has a meeting with the DRT committee meeting this morning. Is that
Yes.
correct, sir? So he is working through the process that we have laid out for
Okay.
that.
Which would be to get zoned commercial, but I can't see that happening. So I'm coming to you today to ask, is there any way we can change the ordinance?
Okay, we'll take that under consideration. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Anyone else that would like to speak during open forum? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 4, which is review and approve the minutes from May 13th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Move on to the review and approve of the agenda. Are there any additions?
No changes or additions, Mr. Chair?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, that motion passes. Thank you. We're on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, if it please the board, I would like to remove 617 land use amendment map from the consent agenda, and I would make a motion to table for further looking and detailing of said table.
Let's look at first pulling it from the consent agenda, and we'll place it after we've dealt with the consent agenda.
Okay.
Any other considerations for the consent agenda?
Motion to approve with the taking out of 617.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We will deal with number 6.17, land use map amendment.
Mr.
Mr.
Chair, I
Lupke.
will make that motion to table that. I have not been able to do all the homework and research on it, and I think there's some areas in there that I question, and I'd like to have a little more time on it before we approve it, as it is taking care of quite a few properties.
So with your motion, would it be to
And bring it back at the next meeting.
address it at the next meeting?
And address it at the next meeting.
So we have a motion to table 6.17, land use map amendment. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? I'm going to pass the gavel to the vice chair, and I will make that second. Any discussion?
I know that's a non-debatable motion, but I guess I'd like to know more about it, but I guess we can't debate it now, so I'll be voting no.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, same sign.
No.
No. Motion fails.
That motion fails.
Yep, thank you.
Could we, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
could we just have an explanation? If you give me more of an explanation of what's going on, then maybe I could be with you, but I don't understand.
Well, since it's been canceled, what I will say is that I looked at a lot of those, and I didn't go each property, but there were some that were moving from commercial to rural residential, which I kind of questioned in the unorganized territory.
Mr. Chair, perhaps I can shed a little bit of light on this topic, and if not, Gary and Chris could maybe help fill in as well. This is to clean up some mistakes that were on, or errors that were on the map after we went through the update last year. There were a couple of parcels that got listed on the map as being in commercial or rural residential 5 when they should have been in 2.5. There were a few areas on the map where the zoning actually has not changed, but the map was incorrect. So these changes were to update to make sure that it was reflective of what it really is truly supposed to be. There was a wrong error. There was errors on the map, and this is correcting what those errors were.
And I was one of those who, when I looked at it, there was so many of them.
Yes.
My concern was I didn't have a chance to
It's
review
not
them.
that there is
and be able to look at
significant
them.
number of
Right,
parcels.
you
Correct.
mentioned a few errors, I would have caught those, but it was a significant number
Correct.
of errors. And I wanted to do a little more research on that, and that's the reason I was
It's
asking
not
for it.
changing what any of the zoning was for any of the areas. It was correcting the erroneous map, is what it was doing.
Which we did approve, that erroneous map at one
Correct.
time.
So the motion to table failed. I'll look for a motion.
To approve 6.17.
There is a motion to approve 6.17.
I will
By
second
Commissioner
that.
Coring, second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes.
Thank you for the clarification, Administrator.
Number 7, I would look for a motion to open a public hearing regarding the update to the Crow Wing County Solid Waste Ordinance.
So move on that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine to open the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll open the public hearing at 9:15. Anyone who would, well, I have Mr. Lehman, is that correct? Yep. If you would like to come up to the microphone and speak? Just if you would give us your name and your address again, please.
Yeah, Brett Lehman, 19210 Spencer Road, and that's Brainerd. Alrighty. Good morning, Commissioners. I stand before you as a concerned citizen and a firm believer in individual liberty to address the existing ordinance limiting abandoned, inoperable, or unlicensed vehicles, as well as vehicle parts on private property. While the proposed amendment to lift some of these restrictions is a step in the right direction, I urge you to go further and completely eliminate restrictions on the number of inoperable or unlicensed vehicles a landowner may keep. The current ordinance, even with the proposed charges, remains an overreach of government authority that undermines the core principles of personal freedom and property rights, which are the bedrock of a free society. I believe individuals should have the autonomy to use their property as they see fit, provided that they do not have a direct harm on others. The existing ordinance, which restricts the number of inoperable or unlicensed vehicles, whether a classic car awaiting restoration or a project truck, infringes on that fundamental right. It assumes the county knows better than the individuals how their land should function. This is not about public safety or nuisance, it's about control. Consider this. Would the county next regulate how many flower pots I can have on my porch, deeming them cluttered, or limit the number of books on my shelves? They're a fire hazard. These examples may sound absurd, but they illustrate the slippery slope of government overreach. If the county can dictate the number of inoperable or unlicensed vehicles on a private property, what's to stop it from policing the personal choices, such as the number of garden gnomes or the style of backyard shed? Property rights are sacred. They empower individuals to pursue their passions, whether restoring vintage cars or collecting spare parts for future projects. Inoperable or unlicensed vehicles harm no one. Yet the current ordinance treats landowners like children who need supervision, eroding personal responsibility and trust. The proposed amendment to loosen these restrictions acknowledges that the rule is overly restrictive, but it doesn't go far enough. Partial relief still subjects landowners to arbitrary limits on their freedom. I urge the county to fully repeal the restrictions of inoperable and unlicensed vehicles in the ordinance, focus on real issues like roads, schools, public safety, not micromanaging private property. Let's preserve Crow Wing County as a place where freedom thrives, not where bureaucracy stifles it. Trust landowners to manage their property responsibly, eliminate the ordinance's restrictions entirely, and uphold liberty. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak on the solid waste ordinance? Anyone else who would like to speak? Hearing none and seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 9:19.
Motion.
I'm sorry, I need a motion.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by Commissioner Coring,
Second.
second by Commissioner Franzine to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll move on to number 8. Good morning.
Mr. Chair, County Board, I am here today, Carroll Community Services, to ask for your approval for up to $30,000 out of the federal opioid settlement dollars allocated to Crow Wing County for our administrative efforts in community services. A little bit of a backstory. So in 2019, several community members, sheriff's office, local law enforcement, and community services got together to talk about our increased child protection numbers, the skyrocketing budget, and the number of individuals in the county jail related to substance misuse. We got together and talked and decided to form the Brainerd Lakes Area Drug Education Coalition, or BLADE, to help to not only support individuals who were in active use, but also those who were seeking treatment and who were trying to live a life free of chemicals, but also to do preventative work within the community. Early on, the Sheriff's Office allocated about $10,000 in their budget to be able to move the coalition work forward. These dollars were used for things like sending our coalition members to the Minnesota Prevention Conference trainings to learn more about preventative measures, to support our work at the Blade booth in the Crow Wing County Fair, the Home Expo, and then training sessions within the community. All were supported under those dollars. In 2022, Crow Wing County received notice that we would be receiving an allocation of a little over $2.5 million in federal opioid funding. Those dollars were from settlements at the federal level for producers, manufacturers, and distributors of opioids and the impact that the opioids had across the United States. As I said, Crow Wing County was allocated the $2.5 million over the course of 18 years, and we've received significant contributions thus far. As I noted in the request for board action, a part of the responsibilities associated with the federal opioid dollars is through the Public Health Department, which is under Community Services. So Public Health has been named as the chief strategist for the opioid dollars, It is our responsibility to convene multi-sector meetings and lead efforts that build upon local efforts, like our community health assessments, our community health improvement plans through the hospitals, and fostering community-focused, collaborative, evidence-informed approaches to reducing substance misuse in our county. That takes quite a lot of work, and early on, with the $10,000 in the Sheriff's Office budget, we felt we had adequate resources at the time because we were a new coalition. We then received some additional public health funds through the state with COVID dollars. There were workforce dollars through public health, and those dollars supported our work as well. So we didn't feel there was a need to draw down administrative costs in the opioid funding. Now those dollars have been cut as well, thus reducing our budgets related to public health. We feel like this is the time then to look at allocating some administrative dollars through the federal opioid dollars towards our work. The memorandum of agreement that Crow Wing County signed with the Office of Attorney General for the state notes that we can claim reasonable administrative costs up to 10% of the relevant allocation of opioid settlement funds. So we're asking for $30,000 annually for administrative costs. That would be toward my salary, toward Tammy Lewick, our adult services manager salary, and April Molesky, who is our business manager, toward her salary. 10% or $30,000 is a lot of money, and it is a small amount related to the overall personnel costs and the work that we do. Some of the work that we have been doing within the last couple years in terms of the Blade opioid work is the $200,000 grant allocations that we did a bit over a year ago. I brought those grant updates to you at the beginning of this year. We are also rolling out an additional $200,000 grant process. Individuals can apply on our website. As a part of that work alone, myself, Tammy, and April are responsible for receiving all of the applications, going through them and making sure they're complete, scheduling and facilitating the grantee presentations, bringing the information to you guys for approval, etc. So I am here today. I just will mention too that It is normal for community services to take an administrative fee off the top of grants to support the work that we're doing administratively within the department. So this isn't something new. This is something that we typically do. We wouldn't do it if we were still receiving adequate public health funding, but that's the reason I'm here for you today, before you today, is because that funding was taken back. So I ask for your approval today to allocate up to $30,000 annually for administrative costs out of the BLADE or federal opioid dollars to the community services budget.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Terry? Then I would look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lupke. I'll pass my gavel to the Vice Chair. I will second that motion. So we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those not in favor, same sign.
No.
No.
That motion fails. I'm sorry. I'm not following. The motion was to approve.
Yes, it was failed.
And two again, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear yours, Rosemary. Okay, so that motion does pass. Thank you very much. Move on to number 9. 9.1 is the Vineyard Estates preliminary plat. Chris?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Good morning.
Let me get to my right spot here. We have 9 items for your consideration this morning. The first request is for the preliminary plat of Vineyard Estates. This is for parcel numbers 7504-0515 and 7504-0516, located in Section 4 of Long Lake Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 18 lots. If you go to the map on page 70, this would be the actual, here we go. I'll try not to blind anybody with this. And so you have State Highway 25 here. This would be the Butternut Road. To the north of Butternut is Oak Lawn Township. To the south is Long Lake Township. This is a joint maintained road between the two townships, and actually Oak Lawn is does the maintenance on it. You can see they've got these lots here across Butternut, and then they have these lots to the rear, access to these 66 points here. And so you'll remember it was a few months ago that the zoning was changed on this. This was at RR1 currently. Right now, the residential 1 zoning. That's why these lots are 1 acre here. And then this was the agricultural forested. It got changed to RR 2.5. So that's why you see these 2.5 acre lots here. There's a total of 18 lots to be considered as part of this plat. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment held a public meeting, had their public hearing on May 15th of 2025, and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Vineyard Estates. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment developed a finding of fact that is found on page 80 to 81 of your packet as well. And based on the application, submitted staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Vineyard Estates. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Chris? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Vineyard Estates.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt the preliminary plat for the Vineyard Estates.
Commissioner Coring makes the motion to approve, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor,
And Mr. Chair, if I could just comment on this.
Sure,
I would
go
just
ahead.
say that Long Lake Township did have an issue with the accesses, but I was told by the chairman of Long Lake Township that they worked that out. So
Okay.
we're all good to go there.
Good. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll move on to 9.2, the final plat for
Thank you. The next request is for the final plat of Vineyard Estates. All requirements have been met for the final plat application and recommend approval as submitted. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the Vineyards Estates final plat.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Coring,
Second.
second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign for not in favor. That motion passes. Thank you. 9.3, Havel Shores preliminary plat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next request is for the preliminary plat of Havel Shores for parcel number 502-00574, located in section 20 of Bay Lake Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 3 lots on Crooked Lake. If you can go to the map on page 102. This is a pretty simple lot. You've got Warren Lane coming on both sides here. You have Crooked Lake here. And these are the 2 riparian lots, and then you have your 1 lot back here that is a non-riparian lot. Just for clarity, a variance was approved in October of 1985 to allow for 135-foot wide lots here instead of the required 150 feet for a recreational development lake. So that was approved back in 1985. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment did hold a public hearing on May 15th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Havel Shores. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop finding of fact that is found on page 114 and 115 of your packet. And based on the application submitted, the staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Havel Shores. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I'd look for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Commissioner Lee makes a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Havel Shores.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to the final plat for Havel Shores.
Thank you. The next request is for the final plat of Havel Shores. All requirements have been met for the final plat and recommend approval as submitted. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Coring to approve.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you, Chris. We'll
Thank
move on
you.
to 9.5, the Battle Point Edition, preliminary plat.
The next request is for the preliminary plat of Battle Point Edition for parcel number 501-10831, located in section 11 of Bay Lake Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 3 lots on Bay Lake. If you go to the map on page 136, look at that, you're already jumping ahead of me like that. That is just... So you have 3 lots here. This is actually Battle Point Road here. You've got Bay Lake here as it wraps around the point. You've got these. This is a non-riparian lot here. This is a riparian lot that comes down and has lake access, and this one does as well. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment did hold a public hearing on May 15th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Battle Point Edition. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment did develop a finding of fact that is found on page 143 and 144 of your packet. And then based on that application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Battle Point Edition. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chris? Seeing none, I would look for a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Battle Point Edition.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Commissioner Lee makes the motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Lubke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Move on to 9.6, Kimball Lake Bluffs preliminary plat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The preliminary plat of Kimball Lake Bluffs is parcel number 6827-0598 and 6827-0599, located in section 27 of Ideal Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 3 lots on Kimball Lake. Again, here's the access down here to get to the lots. There's 3 riparian lots. Meets all requirements of the ordinance as required. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on this one as well on May 15th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Kimball Lake Bluffs. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop finding of fact for you, found on pages 156 through 157 of your packet. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Kimball Lake Bluffs. Staff has reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chris?
No.
I would look for a motion to approve the Kimball Lake Bluffs preliminary plat.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Lubke makes a motion to approve,
Second.
second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, the same sign. That motion passes. We'll move on to 9.7, the Michael and Bernadine Barrett Land Use Map Amendment.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This land use map amendment is for parcel number 57260506, located in section 36 of Daggerbrook Township. The request is to amend the land use map from rural residential 5 to commercial industrial involving approximately 40 acres. Let's go, if we can, Amber, can we go to 163? There we go. So this is gives you an idea of what the zoning map on this is. So you have north and south, you have State Highway 25, you have County Road 139 here to the south. The areas that you see in blue would be the rural residential 5. The areas that you see in green would be the agricultural forested. This is rural residential 10, these two here. These would be tax forfeited, and then the area that you see in blue would be the shoreline district for any streams or creeks that we have out in the area. So the area that we're talking about with the Barrett application is this one right here. Just to give you, and just a point of reference as well, when the Planning Commission held their meeting on May 15th, they also approved a variance for the property to have a 168-foot grain mill. They needed a variance due to the height of it, and that was approved by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on May 15th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the land use map amendment for parcel 57260506 from rural residential 5 to commercial industrial involving approximately 40 acres. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment developed the finding of fact that you'll find on your packet in page 176 through 177. And based on the application submitted, the staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the land use map amendment as submitted. The staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Chair,
Commissioner Corning.
a comment, if I may. So, as I sit here, you know, I think back to when I was younger and the manufacturing jobs that we had in Crow Wing County. We had the paper mill where, boy, if you had a job at the paper mill, that was a great thing. And you got, what's the name of the place up by Marefield?
Clow.
Stamping. You don't have a whole lot of manufacturing. I think that Crow Wing County is more based on recreation and people coming up here to their cabins and everything. And so now you got Sarah Barrett's here, and I just want to publicly thank Sarah and her family for creating this. And between this facility and Little Falls, I think you're upwards of 400 employees, am I right? So, and I believe, Sarah, that you're the only one in the whole country that specializes in these specialized foods. Could be monkey food, could be dog food, could be whatever. Am I right? So I just want to publicly thank Sarah and her family for it. This is in my district, and it creates jobs for people. It helps make my community down there stronger, and with that, I'm very enthusiastically going to support this, and I would move the adoption of the land use map amendment for the Michael and Bernadine Barrett property.
Second.
Commissioner Corning makes the motion. Commissioner Franzine makes the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item we have on the agenda is land use ordinance amendment. Just to give you a quick preview of where we're at in the process, we did put this out for a public comment back in April, and then we came to the committee of the whole. and gave you an update in April 15th. We did a work session with the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. On April 17th, there was a public hearing with the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment held on May 19th, and then the 20th last week came back and provided an update through the Committee of the Whole. There were 3 public comments submitted. During that public comment period of time, nobody came to the public hearing itself on May 19th to testify regarding the ordinance, and the 3 public comments that we did receive were related to Article 6.3A, which is appointment of the how the county board appoints members of the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. All 3 comments wanted to keep the ordinance the way that it currently is now, where commissioners would select their members from their district and not at large. And so at the meeting on the 19th, the Planning Commission decided to divide the issue into 2, and made 2 different motions regarding the ordinance. The first motion they made was related to Article 6.3A. They recommended denying the changes to that on a 3-to-1 vote. And then they made a second motion recommending approval of all the other amendments, voting for that 4-0. So the Planning Commission just want to be clear that there were 2 motions, one specifically to 6.3A where they did not support that amendment. So basically by making that motion, they wanted to keep the ordinance how it currently reads, as the commissioner must appoint a member from their district and not at large. And then motion 2 was recommending approval of all the other amendments. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Coyne?
Mr. Chair.
Chair. Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Coyne?
I would make a motion to adopt the land use revisions as first proposed. So that would include the, on page, let's see here. On page 291 where it says appointed by each commissioner, I'm including that in my motion to be adopted.
So to be clear, what we have is a motion to approve changing 6.3 to at-large, and the other motion was regarding,
I'm just doing one motion.
You're doing-
that for the whole thing, but I'm including, I'm not dividing it like the planning commission did. I'm adopting all the ordinance all at once.
okay, just
And
want,
and when I say as first proposed, this is what was proposed at first,
to change it, to change 6.3.
as proposed.
Mr. Chair, Chris, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, we're talking, the motion would be to adopt the revisions as listed on pages 397 and 398. So
Correct.
that is including Article 6.3A, that a PCBOA member must be appointed by each commissioner. So it's appointing, basically, the commissioner has the authority to appoint whoever they want.
Slow down and say that to me again.
Okay, so the items that are on page 397 and 398 of your packet
Right.
are the proposals. This includes all the ordinance amendments, including making the appointment of a PCBOA member up to the discretion of the commissioner from each district. They may appoint whoever they want, regardless of where the person lives.
Okay, that's what the motion.
That is what the motion
Commissioner
is.
Coring is.
Mr. Chair, for a clarification.
Let me get a second.
Oh, a second, sorry about that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Commissioner Lee makes the second for discussion. Commissioner Lubke.
Mr. Chair, clarification from you, County Administrator. In this, if we do make this, we either are voting for it all or not voting for it all.
That is
Is there
correct.
any way that we could take out the 6.3A, because otherwise I would have to vote no on the whole thing because I'm opposed to 6.3A? Is there a way I can request that to happen? Is there a procedural way that that could be happening?
The current motion would be to approve everything. If you wanted to offer an amendment to that motion, you could offer an amendment that would adopt all of the provisions with the exception of Article 6.3A.
I would make that motion to amend it, but I think that has to be
You need a second for the amendment, and then you would vote on the
I
amendment
would make a
first.
motion to amend that and then to pull the 6.3A out separately and vote on that separately.
Mr. Chair, your motion would be to not approve the 6.3A. So it wouldn't have a separate motion. It would just be to approve the ordinance with the updates except for Article 6.3A.
So do I have a second for that amendment motion? Pass it. I'll make the second to that amendment. So what we're going to be voting on is to,
The amendment is what you vote
Amendment.
on first.
Right.
So you
So-
would vote on the amendment to approve, to remove Article 6.3A from the approval.
correct. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Not in favor, same sign.
No.
Aye.
I didn't hear your vote.
Voted with the not to remove. So the amendment failed.
So the amendment fails.
May-
So now you're back to
Okay, the
the original
amendment
motion.
fails. And so we're back to the original motion. Any other discussion?
One more item of discussion. Does this would be everything, all the way through Article 12.3, correct?
All-
Correct.
Yes, yep.
Everything.
This
Okay.
includes the changes, just for clarification, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Lee, this includes the changes to the solid waste portion, the junk car piece of it as well, the 12.3 inoperable motor vehicle requirements.
There should be another second page to this, I think, as well.
Page down. Yep.
So it goes all the way through definitions, so.
Okay, so I won't go any farther with it because I know where the vote will stand. Sorry, I won't go any farther with another amendment, but I will say on that 12.3 that I'll go along with this because 12.3 is an improvement over what we had, not that it's as good as it should be.
Mr. Chair, if I could just clarify, it's in
Yes.
12.3, 14, and 6, so it's in 3 different articles for that, so just, not just in 12, just for clarity. But
Thank
it's
you.
all the same verbiage.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
More discussion?
Sorry, did you have,
I had some more discussion.
okay.
Want to take the
I'll
discussion?
allow
You
it.
can take it.
Thank you. With all due respect to Commissioner Coring, there are 3 points I would like to bring up in regard to 6.3A. It is my understanding that none of the previous commissioners that have served this county have asked their appointee from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment from outside of the district they serve. Number 2, the 5 people, one of each of our uniquely different districts that we as commissioners appoint to the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment are entrusted to carry out the land use ordinances that we, the county board, have approved. And on many of those decisions, the decision of the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment are final and will not come back to us as the board. The only recourse the applicant has is to appeal this decision to the court of law. And for the record, the majority of the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment recommend no change to Ordinance 6.3A, and the public comment reflected the same. Number 3, as for the people who voted for me to serve the District 2, my appointee will be from that district to do anything else I believe to be a disservice to the people who voted for me. That is my comment.
Thank you. So, I'm going to start over with the vote. So, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor,
Nay.
that motion passes. Move on to 9.9, resolution authorizing adoption of the revisions to solid waste ordinance in Crow Wing County.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a follow-up to the public hearing we had earlier this morning. Basically, if you look at the resolution and Article 4.1, right now, remember, the solid waste ordinance is an ordinance that applies across the county. The land use ordinance applies to the areas that we have our zoning authority. And so what we're proposing in Article 4.1 is to state that 2 inoperable or non-licensed motor vehicles, abandoned vehicles, or parts are still allowed unless allowed pursuant to Articles 12, 14, or 16 of the land use ordinance. So what we're saying is that if you need to be zoned resident, if you're zoned residential, ag forested, or some commercial areas, you can have up to 10 unlicensed vehicles, 1 per acre. And that just is clarifying this piece of what you just approved in the land use ordinance. So this is needed so that both ordinances are congruent and have the same language.
All right, I would look for a motion to approve as recommended.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Coring makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Franzine makes a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. County Sheriff. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Fairly uneventful weekend that we had.
Good.
We just some regular things that occurred around the county that take a little bit of time to deal with, but for the most part, only a couple of arrests, and we did have one of our deputies involved in a motor vehicle crash. There was a vehicle that pulled out in front of one of our squads, and he ended up striking that vehicle corner to corner, and then it went down the whole side of the vehicle. So I'm not sure if the vehicle's totaled or not. All the airbags were deployed, so he received some injuries from the airbags and stuff. So, but he hopes to be back to work on Thursday, is what he said. So that was good. Yeah. Other than that, I'll take any questions at all from you if you have any.
How's your deputy doing?
He's doing good. Yeah. He's a little sore and stiff from the jostle that he took, but yeah, he's doing good. So I just wanted to say, Teresa, thank you all. Thank you very much for everything. And we kind of started. I could tell with the emotional connection that you have with the county and here that you're emotionally connected to us, and I feel the same way with you. We started together, and definitely, I totally understand. We give our life to this place, and we love everybody that we work with, and all the opportunities that we have with each other, and that's the part that's really going to be hard that we're going to miss. So, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, Therese, I'm only here because it's your last day. Otherwise, I'd probably be at my desk and coming virtually. I came just to see you. Yeah, but I won't get too mushy because I don't want to make you cry anymore. I don't have anything else today, Mr. Commissioner, but I certainly can answer any questions any member of the board may have for me.
Any questions for Don?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Administrator.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, given yesterday was a holiday, the senior management team did not meet. So I have nothing further to report for you today, but I would be happy to answer any questions you may have of me.
Any questions for the administrator? All right. Additional business.
Just before that,
Okay.
do we have, Mr. Chairman, do we know anything as far as the legislative session is concerned, Deb, at all, or?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Coring, as of this morning, I had not heard of a date that has been called for a special session yet at this point. I believe there is still work that needs to be done by the work groups at the legislature to come to agreement on the specifics of the bills that did not get passed during the regular session. Originally, there was hope that the work groups, as they're now called, because once they are no longer in session, they're no longer conference committees, but the work groups were charged with getting some of their work done, the legwork, by late last week. That did not happen. So at this point, they're still working on getting those items resolved. And once they have come to an agreement, the governor has said that he will call a short special session to address those items. So at this point, there is still a lot of to be determined yet. There were a couple of bills passed at the end of the regular session, but the ones that are going to have the majority of the impact on county government, namely in health and human services and some of the general government requirements around county program aid and other funding sources, have yet to be determined at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Not in favor, can stick around. Otherwise, we're adjourned.